What's up, guys? We're here with Todd. You got second place again at the Halifax Regionals, playing it back with Mimighouls. Your boy Dragon is back in the house. Anything you want to say before we dive on in? Any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to the store. Shout out to everybody who I played. Shout out to, I don't think I borrowed any cards this time. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Azaroon statue. I didn't forget it this time.
He didn't forget the trap. Shout out to the burgers.
We played the trap. Yeah, I think that's it. Shout out to, Shout out to Mr. Kirby. This guy is my biggest hater.
He's everyone's biggest
He pushed me to be good. He tells me to stop being shit, and I stop being shit. I get second, so I guess shout out to Mr. Kirby.
Before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's show us the Mimighouls.
All right, this is kind of standard. Just 3 dragon. It's like the best normal summon, your best searcher. 3 archfiend. This is equally as important as dragon because this is how you play around impulse. So you still have to play 3. You also just need a way to flip your skies. So you play 3. That's the only 3 ofs. We play 2 fairy. It's an extender. If you have a Mimighoul, you can special it. Its effect is also just kind of good if your opponent summons from the hand. Your opponent can activate the monster effects of monsters they've special summoned from the hand when it's flipped up for the rest of the turn. So it stops Witch from going into the Azamina cards. It stops Poplar. If you play against Voiceless, it stops Voiceless cards. That's kind of just off the top of the head what I can think of. But this one's really good. I play 2 slime. I know some people only like 1 slime, but again, I have to be able to play through impulse. I got impulsed a few times today. I still played through it. Slime summons one from your opponent summons one from the deck, you being the opponent. So when it gets flipped on their side, you just summon any Mimighoul from your deck. And if your opponent has more monsters than you can special summon it. We have armor. If your opponent controls a monster, you can summon this to your side. So all 3 of these can summon to your side as extenders to be paired with just your normal guys here. And I still play the 1 Cerberus. It's pretty much just a name. And banishing cards from the top of your opponent's deck is still kind of good, especially when you're trying to link climb. It just gives you a body. And, the 1 master. You only need 1 master because you bring it back with Throne a lot. Castira Mimighoul is my favorite card. Castira Unicorn. When you flip your guys, it triggers. So you can trigger it on your turn. You can look at their extra deck, see what they're playing, kind of set up accordingly.
Do people ever scoop knowing they're going to lose and that they don't want you to see their extra deck?
Depending on what I've done already, some people will scoop. If you look at their extra decks are incredibly tight right now. Everybody's playing a whole slew of just one-ofs because everyone's playing like this card. If you look at their extra deck and you just hit the sequence, you hit sequence and you get rid of the Desiree basically. So it's like a 2-for-1. And then on their turn, if you hit something else, you can just ruin combos off of a Unicorn. I think this card is a staple. I know some people started dropping it to go more pure for other variants, but this card is insane in this deck. I think everybody should play it. Like I said, you just look at their extra deck, hit key combo pieces. The less combo pieces they have in their extra deck, the more they have to dance around your Mimighoul cards because honestly, the Mimighoul cards don't do anything broken. They're all just a minor inconvenience, and when you stack up enough inconveniences to your opponent, you just take enough of their resources away, and then you start winning the game because you snowball so well from just all of these. So yeah, the more you can take away, the better. And yeah, like Pat said, just knowing what your opponent is playing and how to set up is really good. We played the Bestials. I know a lot of people don't like these as well anymore because everyone's playing the Fire decks again and Fire King, but again, like I said, the more they have to dance around your Mimighoul cards, the more they start putting lights and darks in the grave. These are just really good extenders. This gets you to Dragon. This, I never really use a second effect, but it's a decent interruption, and Druid Worm is just Druid Worm. You link it off, send something to the graveyard. Yeah. And then for hand traps, everybody's favorite, we main deck Shifter, we main deck Ash, no Fuelos, no of the other Charmies, because I just didn't want to pay for them. They're too expensive at the moment. Shifter is Shifter. It doesn't really do anything to you. It gets rid of your room if you activate it, but you play more than 1 room, so that's fine. And Ash is Ash. The card's probably never not going to be good. On the spells and traps, we play 3 dungeon. Dungeon is dungeon. This card's cracked. You can get rid of your opponent's normal summon because they have a set monster, and then the more they have to flip them, the more they lose advantage. And like I said, you just snowball.
And it also adds back from graveyard, which is a very underrated effect. People do
Yeah,
not
you
realize.
grab back. You can add one. Sorry, you can add a Mimighoul from deck, or you can add a Mimighoul from grave. Back to your hand. So that's also why some of my cards are 1-ofs. It's why I only play 2-ofs, because you don't need to play 3-ofs of every single one because you don't really run out of them. And this card is actually, hold on, I'll explain that in a couple minutes. 3 Mimighoul Maker. This card is an FTK against Tenpai. That's what I was going to say. 3 Mimighoul Maker. You take 2 from your deck. Your opponent randomly gets one. So like, I don't know, roll a dice, odd, even, whichever one you get, you give them one. The other one goes to your hand. And then you can special summon any Mimighoul monster from your hand. This card is really strong, but you have to keep in mind that if you activate this and they discard one of each Charmy, you probably lose. Because this summons one technically from deck, you add one to hand, and then you summon from your hand. So if they do both Charmies, they draw 2. But this does give them a card off of just Fuelos as well. You just kind of have to play around it. We play Fucho, so if they start tossing too many Charmies, we just go into Fucho Pass. I play 2 talents and 1 thrust. I was supposed to have more thrust today. The person who was supposed to bring them didn't bring them to sell them to me, so I only played 1, but I was supposed to be playing 2 to 3 with a couple tech cards in my deck, so I just did this. Both of these, your opponent activates the Mimighoul monster effects, so you can do these like during your turn. So you can like do something. If you get hand trapped, there's like 1 card gone, and then if they do another hand trap, or if when you Archfiend, there's another card gone, and then like Talents, there's another card gone. So they're playing on like 3 cards against you, just constantly gaining advantage. Yeah, so those are both really good. I played the 1 Called by the Grave and then the Birth. This card is actually insane right now. If you look at your opponent's extra deck with Unicorn and then hit a card, you can link off the Unicorn, bring back the Unicorn, and then just sit on this. The entire Wanted Azamina thing just loses to this. Yeah. So if they activate the spell, they tribute a monster, there's 1. They play Hollowed, they send the card to the grave, there's another one, and then like if they have another card in the grave already, like a hand trap from your turn, you just hit the Hollowed and Sinful Spoils card, and then they're all gone. They can't bring them back. And then the Bestial kind of deals with the fusion monster if it goes to the grave, and if it doesn't, well, they have a negate, and you have a Unicorn. Unicorn's bigger anyway, so yeah. The Azamina cards are also why I wanted to play the Bestials, because they're all lights and darks. People link them off, and then when they try to grab back, you just Bestial with the fusion monster, they don't get it back. Like I said, we remembered to play this time. This card's really good. You can go into the the rabbit. Shout out to MBT for making fun of me in his video. I thought that was kind of hilarious, honestly. You can go into Silhouette. You can flip this. Silhouette pops a Speller Trap. A lot of decks play face-up Speller Traps right now, so you can get rid of like Island if they don't have Shrine. You can get rid of the Sinful Spoils spell card that does all the searching. You can just get rid of like whatever's on the board that you want to get rid of. And then we played 3 Imperms, like the last hand trap, and then 3 Room.
Did you ever cut down on Room? I thought someone was playing 2 online.
I actually was going to cut, if I had my thrusts, the other thrusts, I was going to cut Room down to 2. And I was going to play,
Heavy Slump?
No. I was going to play Heavy Slump my main deck, but then I decided not to because I figured not everybody would have Fuelos. No, what's the Terrors card? Terrors are the Underroot, I think it is. Target a face-up card on the board, target a card in your opponent's grave. You can send the face-up one, and then set the other. Because if you get hit with, like, Fuelos or any of the Charmies, say, like, a deck, I don't know, just like Tenpai, I know I keep repeating myself, they play the field spell. Well, now you can flip Terrors, send the field spell to the grave, set their, like, not good hand trap. And this card, if people don't know, this is what I wanted to talk about. This card says if either player has a set monster, you can't normal summon while you have that set monster, and you also cannot attack with monsters that were attack with monsters during the turn they were special summoned. So if you play against Tenpai and you have your field spell up and you have Room, unless they just like dance around your cards exceptionally well, or they like drew like just everything, which you can't do anything anyway. These 2 cards FTK Tenpai. Because I guess I can show this one too. This deck has like a decently really good Tenpai matchup because of these cards. So Fairy says if a monster is special summoned from the hand during that turn, you can't activate its effect. So if you flip this and it comes back, You have to be careful because it only has 100 attack, but now they can't activate monster effects that were summoned from the hand. So if they use...
Chandra.
Yeah, so if Sundra specials from hand, they can't summon from deck.
Genroku.
Just any of them. Yeah, Genroku summons. He can't summon because he can't tribute to summon from deck or whatnot. When they go in the battle phase, you can literally activate Mimighoul Room. And as long as they have a set monster, sorry, they can't normal. So they really have to get rid of the set monster, which they all play Dark Hole, so it's not that hard. But you flip Room and you summon Master. And then Master says, well, there's a face-down monster on your opponent's side of the field, or you control a Mimighoul monster. He can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So you can flip this, summon this in defense, Book of Moon the Chandra, and then now this can't be destroyed by battle or card effects as long as that Chandra's there, and this gets you a search for a dragon for follow-up, and you probably already have dungeon. So even if they manage to put a bunch of monsters on board, they can't attack with them now because you have dungeon. If they have droplets, I don't know, sucks to suck, but there's a little crash course on how to play against Tenpai, I guess. I think this deck's really good into that deck, and a lot of people are playing it locally, so yeah. Extra deck, I played 2 Giant. I think 2 Giant is necessary because you go into one, you search, they clear your board, you go into the other one, and then you kind of start going for game. This card is kind of what this deck seriously needed. So on summon, you search for any Mimighoul card, which lets you always end on room. Mimighoul monsters that are not from the extra deck can attack directly, and if I didn't mention it, the field spell also gives all your Mimighoul monsters, it applies their defense to their attack. So Master's 3k, and 3k directly is nothing to be shunned at. Dragon's 25, even armor is I think 21 or something, so the damage adds up quick. If your opponent has a face-down monster, they can attack directly. And you can also detach material. You can target face-up cards in the field up to the number of face-down monsters your opponent has, destroy them, and then they take 1,000 for each one. So sometimes you can just kind of set up to attack and do I don't know, we'll say 5,000 to 6,000 damage, give them a bunch of monsters, detach and target your own cards, and then they either stop this, or if they don't, you destroy all your own cards, but then you just burn them out and you win anyway, so it doesn't matter if you clear your own board. That's kind of how you win in time as well.
Yeah, that card's nasty. Should be banned.
This card's crazy. This card is insane. I played 2 Throne because, again, Impulse, we all know, kind of really hits this deck. It sucks. So if you have 2 Impulse, you can give them monsters. And then if you have to, you can bounce them back to your hand with this. So you have the extenders to try to keep playing so you never run out of resources. And touching back on this attacking directly, Throne says when it's on board, you can detach a material, summon a Mimighoul Master from hand, deck, or grave. He summons, he gets you your search, and then during either player's main phase as a quick effect, this can equip to Master. Master gains 1,000 attack, and then you bounce cards on the field up to the number of materials it had before it equipped. So typically it has 1, sometimes it has 2, because it takes 2 to make it. But that makes Master 4,000 if it wasn't summoned this turn. So this letting Master attack directly for 4,000 just cuts your opponent's life points in half. And then this being able to burn typically for we'll say 2,000, because they usually have 2 monsters, that's 6,000 damage. So coming up with that 3,000 damage in this deck is really not that hard. Yeah, that's it for that. This can also help you play around evenly matched, I guess, or board breakers, because you can activate the effect, equip to Master, and you can bounce your own cards if you have to save your room. So between this and room, you really you can dance around board breakers pretty easily as well. We played this. This just lets you attack directly. This is also kind of decent against Tenpai and OTK decks because you can detach a material, it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, and you take no battle damage for the rest of the turn. So you can kind of end on this. This is kind of the same as Fucho. If I can't push, I just make Fucho pass because, I don't know, it doesn't die. It's unaffected by stuff. These goes with the Zeus because you can make Zeus in this deck really easily. Everybody knows Zeus. I played the one on Solemn. When your opponent can't normal summon, and then they start special summoning, and you have this just bounces the threats off the board. So they kind of can't get anything going. So between sometimes you'll have this up with room set, even just this room in the field spell with them having a set monster sometimes is just good enough to get you there, honestly. Some people are indifferent about this card. I really like it. This also touches bases on me not having my other thrusts. If I had 2 to 3 thrusts, I was gonna main deck Heavy Slump Because even if you don't get Fuelos or the Mulch armies, your opponent will start their turn with, say, 6 cards. They can't summon. So if they start playing the cards that, like, generate advantage, say, like, summon, I don't know, we'll say, like, Original Sinful Spoils, summon Ash. You can bounce the Ash. The Ash gets the Poplar, you can bounce the Poplar, but the Poplar also searches. So now they're probably up to 6 or 7 cards, and then you can just, like, heavy slump, put them on 2 cards, and then they have to get through your stuff.
Okay.
Just kind of something I was messing with, but I only had 1 thrust, so I didn't. And I still play this. This card, you detach a material during either player's turn. I didn't play the other one, just this one. You change all of your opponent's monsters to attack position, and then they have to attack this card if they're able to. So when you give your opponent a bunch of Mimighouls, you just use this effect. They all flip up to attack. Your opponent has to activate all their effects, and they all come back to you. Sometimes this is like the make or break between you having enough bodies to keep playing the game or not. And this card is also kind of saves you because you'll have like cards like these. So this has 0 defense. You don't really want to put it in attack. And then there's like this. So sometimes people will go special, enter battle phase. So then you can detach from this. You can flip up your Mimighoul if you have to lose the effect in the battle phase or just like to get it out the way, that's fine. But now they have to attack this. So if they only have 1 monster, they can't attack either one of these. Then they still have to deal with these once they're done trying to attack over them. So that's just another thing you can do with that.
Nice little
on
defense
top
card.
of
Okay.
like Mimighoul Room, of course, because you always end on it. We played Relinquished Anima, Phoenix, just like standard stuff. Just for the links. I didn't want to play too many links because I liked the thought of just playing a bunch of Exceeds because the Exceeds were kind of better. This is just to help kill people. Like we all know with this deck, Impulse stops your opponent from being able to activate Earth Monster effects, but if you flip them up with your Archfiend, they still have to go to attack position. So you can climb into this. This guy will be like 43. If you hit over something with 43 and then they still have like a monster or 2, then you can use Giant to burn. And if you have Giant and Master, Master can attack directly. So like Master attacking directly for 4k and then this hitting like a Mimighoul Archfiend is game. So that's kind of how you try to manage playing around Impulse. Yeah. Everybody knows what these do. You play these. Silu Hat is just Silu Hat. Like I said, people play a lot of continuous spells you need to get rid of. Phoenix is Phoenix, and then Anima is Anima. I will give a quick little shout out. I was testing this card. So this card, it wasn't in my extra deck, it was going to be, but I didn't end up playing it. So you can say thrust into, this is just something I thought about, room. And then this helps you play around Impulse as well. You can give your opponent the monsters, put them in attack, just in a way that you put them in attack in this deck. So like the rank 1 guy that flips them all up. You can discard room, overlay this. This says all your opponent's monsters lose 500 attack. And then if it attacks and destroys a monster by battle, it can attack again. So you'll attack over something, you'll do damage, you'll detach material, you'll attack again. And then you can overlay for Zeus. Obviously, yeah, just like Zeus. Activate Zeus effect, and you can banish the room that you discarded to bounce all your Mimighoul cards, and then use Zeus to board. So it's a way to keep your own cards, but it's also like a helpful way.
5,000 damage. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. The damage adds up, and then like, if your opponent, like, if you can get your opponent down to like say 2 to 3,000 life points in this deck, Giant Mimighoul is just always a threat to just win the game. So I just thought I would show that off, kind of like a little shadow card. I don't know, but that's something I was messing with. I just ended up dropping it because I didn't have enough thrust to make it really good. Side deck was just 3 nib. Nib is nib. People play negates, but like they have to dance around all your stuff, so they usually play in a nib anyways. 3 Droll. Droll, I don't know, this card's amazing. I sided this in a lot today. Pretty much did everything I needed it to. The only person I didn't play it against was Angus. Shout out to him for getting first place. He was my only loss today, and I drew like no hand traps against his deck, and Fire King Uncontested is really good. And I played 2 Pancatrops over the Cyclones. I really like this card because you can keep this in going first. You just give them a Mimighoul, special it, and then it's just an interruption that sits on your board. To out cards, because sometimes there's just cards in this deck that really suck to have in against certain other decks. So this was just like the middle ground of being able to side those out but still have something that does something. And it's really good at breaking boards going second. You can like special this, beat over the Azamina. They're going to get a card off of it and then like pop something else and start playing the game the way you want. We played Duster. Pat's favorite card, Regeki. He sees this card in his sleep.
Real.
2 Dark Rulers and then 2 of these because you kind of have like Thrust to be like the 3rd copy of all these and toggle into things. So, yeah.
Anything you would change? Like, how many cards in deck, by the way?
I don't remember. I think it's 46 because I put the Kashtira cards back in.
Okay.
Yeah, anything I would change? I don't think so. If I had Fuelos, I would play those. Or Fualos. I don't know what its name is. Honestly, the side deck is pretty solid. I'd potentially drop these, but like you can't because Tenpai. You need board breakers. You need a way to clear the board. This is just like generic. Those are good hand traps. The main deck is pretty solid. The extra deck, I would try and squeeze the other Exceed back in. And what else was I going to say? Everybody's playing a lot of board breakers. So if you people want to, this is just another idea. You can play this in this deck. You search it off of Thrust. This card literally just says target any Exceed monster, which typically you have like these on your end board. Or like at least this. Overlay a Goblin Exceed on top of it, and then you attach this to it. So you can overlay, I forgot the card, into Crazy Beast. This was in my list until I found out I wasn't getting Thrust. So you can do this. You can overlay into Crazy Beast. Maybe Patrick can like edit Crazy Beast here. And then you attach this to the Crazy Beast as a material. And then Crazy Beast says when your opponent has a face-up Speller Trap, you can target one of them, detach 2 materials from Crazy Beast to attach the Speller Trap to it. So you'd have like your opponent's other card. And then if you detach this, this says you can banish this, target a card in either graveyard and attach it to a Goblin. So you get a Crazy Beast that like gets rid of a face-up Speller Trap. You get a Graveyard Interruption, and Crazy Beast also says if your monsters would be destroyed by card effect, you can detach a material from it to like keep them alive. So Crazy Beast can literally like remove a face-up Speller Trap. This is Graveyard Control, and it's for any card. And then like it'll help you play through like 2 board breakers because everybody loves board breakers right now, like Dark Hole, Regekis, people are playing like Lightning Storms and stuff. So there's just some food for thought. This was my 46th or 47th card, but like I said, I didn't have Thrust, so I just thought I would show it off.
Very, very cool. Well, congratulations on getting second place, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Hopefully.